life is returning to some degree of normality. Schools have reopened in Liberia after 6 months of children being told to stay away. But at the height of the outbreak, Guinea, Liberia and Sierra Leone were under siege. Our BBC team watched as patients were turned away from full treatment centres. This man, Francis Samuka, later died. In a damning report, the medical charity MSF says the world ignored its calls for help early in the outbreak. It's particularly critical of the World Health Organization for not declaring an international health emergency much sooner.
We were sounding the alarm very early on, and we were astonished to see that rather than have a massive response, we were getting a lot of pushback. And in effect, this has had tragic consequences because it meant that the whole deployment, the whole emergency response was delayed, and it let Ebola spread throughout West Africa for months unchecked.
The WHO is also accused of trying to downplay the outbreak at the beginning instead of alerting the world to how serious the situation was.
Immediately we knew it was Ebola, we notified the world and we immediately sent teams in to deal with it. But indeed, as we've said before, we think that a great deal more could have been done, and we have set up an independent review to look at those things.
The world has come a long way since the peak of the Ebola outbreak. Back in November in Sierra Leone, there were almost 600 new cases a week. Now it's fewer than 60. Liberia had managed around 3 weeks without a new infection, but it's now recorded at least one fresh case. And look at what's happening in Guinea. After infections fell sharply, they're gradually creeping up again. Until there are 0 cases recorded in all 3 countries for at least 6 weeks, this outbreak will not be considered over. This month, a timely reminder of the global threat the virus continues to pose. A British military health worker is still being treated for Ebola after being flown home from Sierra Leone. She will receive the best possible treatment with potential access to experimental drugs. In West Africa, meanwhile, the long fight to end this outbreak goes on. Tulip Mazumdar, BBC News.